How's it going? Fox here again for sound design tutorials. Today I'm going to be using Native Instruments Massive again. I'm going to be showing you how to make a huge EDM riser. So yeah, I'll show you the sound quick and then I'll show you how I made it step by step. There you have it. Looks like a lot of modulation is going on, which it is, but in reality it's only one envelope doing all the work. It's envelope 3 with a real long attack, so it's gradually turning all of these dials around that you can see with the blue on over a long period of time. I think this is it's like a 4-bar loop, I think, so it's taking 4 bars for this third envelope 3 which we use to open all these dials around. But yeah, I say nothing else is too stressful about the patch. So yeah, I'll go ahead and create a new sound. Oscillator 1. I choose Rough Math 3. I just picked any 3 oscillators at random really. There was no right or reason to which ones I chose. I wanted it to be quite high pitched and a whistly sort of riser, and it worked out quite well. So yeah, Oscillator 1 was a Rough Math 3. Kept it on Spectrum. Pulled it down 1 octave to -12, and I offset it a bit to 12.04. I kept the wavetable position round on maximum. Pull the intensity back to about 2 o'clock. Kept the amp round on full, and route this to filter 1. I only use one filter for this sound. Oscillator 2 is a scrapyard. Pull the wavetable position of this one back to 12 o'clock, the intensity all the way back to about 10. Keep the amp on full again. Route this only to filter 1, and I pull this one down 2 octaves. Oscillator 3, I chose a Drive 3. Kept this one on Spectrum as well. Pull the wavetable position back to about 10 o'clock. Intensity dead center, amp on full again, and route this one to filter 1 as well. Pitch this one down 2 octaves as well, -24. Offset this slightly just to detune it a bit, 9.5, and this one about 9.8. What I did do for Oscillator 2, actually, I changed this to a formant, just to shift it up a bit. That's it for the 3 oscillators. I used a couple of modulation oscillators to give it a bit more depth, so I clicked turn it on. I pulled the pitch down -12. I used ring mod via oscillator 3. I used phase for oscillator 2. And that's it. Pull it all the way down to 0 for both the phase and the ring mod. We're going to open this up with an envelope later on. Feedback I used, clicked it, turned it on, keep it on 0 again, route it to filter 1 because we're going to open this up with an envelope as well in a bit. I'll set the envelope now up actually, and I can add all these elements as we go along. So yeah, envelope 3 is what I used. You can use any envelope you want. I push the attack all the way around to maximum, keep the level for the attack on maximum, keep the decay dead center, the decay level all the way around to maximum. Keep the release and everything else out as a standard, so it should look like this. Real long attack up to just beneath the box on linear. So yeah, as I say, we're going to use this for quite a lot. So are you going to use this for wavetable position of oscillator 2? Pull this back just before dead 0. Going to use this for the intensity on oscillator 2 as well. Push it around to in between 12 and 1 o'clock. I'm going to use it for the wavetable position on oscillator 1 as well. Put it back to about 12 o'clock. The wavetable position for oscillator 3, positive to about 2 o'clock. Intensity of oscillator 3, positive all the way around. We use it for the ring modulation, as I say, to push this phase knob around to about 8 o'clock. The phase the same amount, all envelope 3. It's the only envelope I use for this sound. Obviously envelope 4 I'll set up as well, because that controls the... I'll tell you what, we'll use envelope 3 for the amp, because it's pretty much the same envelope what I did. I just changed envelope 4 so it matched this. So by dragging 3 into that box, this envelope is now controlling the main amp, so it's going to start off quiet and then it's going to get louder as the note progresses. So yeah, this is a bit of modulation now. Okay, we'll get the filter in play now. I set it to serial, not that it matters because I'm only using one. I changed it to a comb filter. I kept the pitch where it was. I pulled the damping back so it was the same as the pitch, and the feedback in between the two, about 11 o'clock for the pitch feedback. Sorry. Route this to filter 1. Keep volume on full. Sorry, and keep the mix all the way to the top on filter 1. I use envelope 3 on this as well to open this pitch round to about 1 o'clock. I use an LFO to modulate this as well, and the amps of all 3 oscillators, but I'll set that up right at the end. So yeah, only one filter. Feedback we did. We need to do the envelope for the feedback as well. First modulation box up to about 2 o'clock. Insert 1 I used a sine shaper, which is a distortion. Dry wet back to about 10. Pull the drive down to 0. We're going to increase this drive as the note progresses as well with envelope 3, so it's going to gritty the sound up as it goes on. Insert 2 was a Parabolic Shaper. Same again, only this time we're going to modulate the dry wet with the envelope, so it's just going to bring the signal in from 0 to about 10 o'clock. Pull the drive on this one back to about 10 as well. So, distortion and a sine Parabolic Shaper. Yeah, we're getting there now. We'll go to the voicing section. We're really going to beef this up. I'll set the unison to 12, something I very rarely do. Just to make the sound feel as massive and as big as I can. I wanted it to fill most of the spectrum. This is a sort of riser that you'd use with nothing else apart from just a snare roll behind it or something. Yeah, I use envelope 3 to modulate the pitch cut off. Click, turn it on, click on it, do it positive, tiny little bit. That much, that's all it's needed. That's spreading those unison voices with that envelope as well. Did the same for the pan position. Clicked it, set it to dead mono. Use envelope 3 again and do it to full. This is going to push the unison voices to the left and the right as the sound goes on. In the routing section we'll go to now, I kept everything as it was bar the inserts. The feedback stayed where it was. I moved insert 1 to this position and insert 2 to here. That's it, I didn't touch anything else. Oh, actually, I did. Click on these 2 B's so that this yellow line runs all the way through, and route that arrow so it goes into FX1 first, through FX2 to the EQ and the master. So we'll go ahead and set the effects up now. This is done. Still a bit static at the minute. The way you get the real rising effect with a pitch is we're going to modulate all these three pitches with that same envelope. I'll do that last so you can see what a difference it makes. So yeah, FX1 is a dimension expander. Pull the dry wet to 0 and the size back it off just a tiny bit. Use envelope 3 again. Push it round to about 10 o'clock. Dimension expander. Use a reverb for effects 2. Just a standard reverb, not a small reverb. Pull the dry wet back to about 7. Keep the size where it is. Density backed off slightly and the colour all the way down to 0. We're going to use envelope 3 again to modulate a few of these. The dry wet to about 1. Size to about 2. The colour to about 2 as well. So it's going to wash the reverb in, and the reverb's going to get bigger and brighter as the note progresses. EQing, did a bit of boosting with, click on the EQ, turn it on. I did a bit of boosting with this envelope as well. I got it to increase the low shelf in between 2 and 3 o'clock. Pull the high shelf down to a starting position of about 8 o'clock, and then we're going to use the envelope to push it back to about 12 o'clock. So this one's going to really boost the lows as the sound goes on, and this one we've cut the highs and it's going to bring the highs back to their original position. Right, we're nearly there now. I did use an LFO, as I said, to modulate this pitch and the amp of all 3 oscillators. It was LFO 5 I used. So click and drag this to the amp of all 3. Pull them back to dead 0. So it's going to flick the amp off and then back on again to the rate that we're going to set in a minute. So double click on the 5 LFO. I'll set the rate, I synced it, set the rate to 1/8, so it's quite quick. Changed it to a square wave because I wanted a definite on and off. I kept the attack where it were. I just pulled the decay level back ever so slightly on the internal envelope for the LFO. Push the crossfade to the top, so it's only this square wave that we're using. And we're going to use this amp, which is the volume of the LFO, as sort of a fade in for the LFO. So pull it down to dead 0. Use the envelope 3 again. Push it round to about 10 o'clock again. That means when the note starts, you're not going to hear any LFO at all. It's just towards the end of the note that you're going to start to hear the LFO do what it's doing, which is flicking the amp on and off. And we are also going to use it to modulate this pitch of the comb filter. So click it in there, push it positive, just below the amount that we set for the envelope. So yeah, LFO. Sounding good, sounding big and sounding wide, but this final thing that we're going to do, modulating the pitch, is what's going to give it the real risey sort of sound that you're used to. So yeah, we're going to use envelope 3 to modulate the pitch of all 3, so drag it to all 3 boxes. We're going to set the first 2 to +2 octaves, so hold out, Alt, drag it up, +24, +24, and the third one is going to be +12, up 1 octave. So yeah, this is it, the sound done. This is now going to increase the pitch, so it's going to go through the notes up high with all these other modulation as the sound goes on. So yeah, this is the sound done. I haven't done it for oscillator 2 for some reason. +24. I've done it for that one wrong. Let's remove it from there. Oscillator 3 was +12. The other 2 +24. So yeah, try again. There you have it, Huge EDM Riser. You can change the length of it takes everything to come in simply by adjusting the attack level on envelope 3. This is the one that controls everything. So if you back the attack off, that's a really, really quick one. As you can see, the longer the attack, the longer it takes for everything to come in. If this was me actually using it for a production, I'd probably want some more effects on it as well. Because you're limited to only 2 effects slots, I would probably flatten it, and then you've got it in audio form. And then I'd probably add a delay on it and stuff like that, and a phaser, just a simple ping pong delay. Just automate the dry wet as it goes on. So I would definitely use a phaser on something like this as well. Again, same thing. Dry wet. There you have it anyway, Huge EDM Riser with massive, nice and straightforward really. I say the modulation looks messy, but it's just one envelope turning all the knobs around so the amounts crease over the time of the envelope. Lovely neat trick. You can do what you want. You can chop and change all the distortions and all the effects you use. Doesn't really matter what oscillators you use, if I'm honest, in regard to the sound, because they're getting pitched up that high. By the end of the envelope, it doesn't really matter. I say I just chopped and changed a few, and I ended up stuck with these 3. But yeah, I'm quite sure you could just use all 3 sine waves or all 3 saw waves or whatever. It'd still sound exactly the same. So yeah, try messing around with different oscillators and different effects to see what you get. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you like any of my videos. Head on over to our Facebook and Google Plus page. It's Sound Design Tutorials. Or tweet me at Sound Design Tuts. Okay, thanks again. Cheers.